There's a thought that crosses every believer's mind at some point. What makes someone special in the sight of Allah? Are there certain people who are just chosen? We see people who seem to have unshakable faith, incredible patience, and a unique connection with Allah, and we wonder, were they always like this? Were they born different? But here's what most people don't realize. Islam doesn't teach that only a select few are chosen. In fact, Allah makes it clear that anyone can be chosen, if they choose Him. The Quran says, "Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you." Quran 49:13. That means it's not about who you are, where you're from, or what status you hold. It's about what's in your heart. True chosen ones are not those with special bloodlines or hidden powers. They are simply those who live with sincerity, trust in Allah, and remain steadfast in their faith. And here's the real question. Are you carrying the signs of someone whom Allah has elevated? Because there are 7 powerful qualities that only those truly close to Allah possess. And if you find these within yourself, it might be a sign that Allah is guiding you toward something greater. Let's uncover them one by one. 1. They experience isolation, but it's for a purpose. Have you ever felt like you don't fully belong? Like no matter how many people are around, you still feel distant, as if you're on a different path. This isn't just loneliness, it's something deeper. Throughout history, those whom Allah elevated went through periods of isolation, not because they were abandoned, but because Allah was preparing them for something greater. Even the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, experienced this. Before receiving revelation, he would retreat to the cave of Hira, away from the noise of society, to reflect and connect with Allah. And here's what most people don't realize. Sometimes Allah pulls you away from certain people, environments, or distractions, not to punish you, but to purify your heart and strengthen your connection with Him. Allah says in the Quran, "And be patient, for indeed Allah does not let the reward of the righteous be lost." Quran 11:115. That means when you feel isolated, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is Allah teaching me through this?" Because the truth is, in moments of solitude, your heart becomes clearer. Your focus shifts from people's opinions to Allah's guidance. And that's when you begin to grow in ways that wouldn't have been possible if you were constantly surrounded by distractions. So, if you've been feeling this way, don't mistake it for rejection. It might just be Allah's way of elevating you. 2. Their tests are greater than most people's. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to struggle more than others? It's like every time they overcome one hardship, another one appears. They experience betrayal, loss, setbacks, and challenges that would break most people. And yet, they keep going. But here's the truth. The closer Allah wants you to be, the more He will test you. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "The most severely tested people are the prophets, then those closest to them in faith, then those closest to them." Tirmidhi. This hadith reminds us that tests are not punishments. They are a sign that Allah is refining you, strengthening you, and preparing you for something greater. Allah also tells us in the Quran, "Do people think they will be left to say, 'We believe,' without being tested?" Quran 29:2. Think about it. Gold is purified by fire, diamonds are shaped through pressure, and the strongest people are built through hardship. If Allah is testing you, it means He sees potential in you that you may not even see in yourself. But here's the real question. Do you recognize your tests as a sign of Allah's elevation, or do you see them as obstacles? Because the moment you shift your perspective, your struggles will no longer feel like a burden. They will feel like a path leading you closer to Allah. 3. They see the ugly side of people, and it changes them. Let's be real. At some point, life forces you to see the truth about people. You start off believing that everyone is good, everyone is loyal, and no one would ever betray you, until reality smacks you in the face. You see jealousy where you expected support, lies where you expected honesty, and betrayal from the last person you'd ever suspect. Painful? Absolutely. But pointless? Not at all, because here's the thing. Allah doesn't expose people to hurt you. He exposes them to free you. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "If Allah intends good for someone, He gives them understanding of the religion." Bukhari. That means when Allah opens your eyes to the truth about people, it's not just so you can sit there feeling betrayed. It's so you can grow in wisdom, stop depending on the wrong people, and place your trust where it truly belongs, with Allah. Allah also tells us in the Quran, "It may be that you dislike something, yet it is good for you." Quran 2:16. Yes, finding out that some people are fake, selfish, or disloyal hurts. But imagine if you never saw their true colors. Imagine if you kept trusting them, relying on them, and expecting good from them, only to realize too late that they were never sincere. So if you've been feeling disappointed by people, congratulations. That means Allah is saving you from the wrong ones and guiding you towards something better. And here's the best part. Once you stop relying on the wrong people, you create space for the right ones to enter your life. They struggle to fit in. Because they're not meant to have you ever tried to blend in with a crowd only to feel like you just don't belong? Like no matter what you do, you're always a little different? Maybe you've tried to laugh at the jokes everyone finds funny, but deep down, you know they're not right. Maybe you've tried to join the conversations, but something inside you tells you, this isn't me. And at some point, you start wondering, why can't I just be like everyone else? Why do I always feel out of place? Well, here's the truth. You're not meant to fit in. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "Islam began as something strange, and it will return to being strange. So give glad tidings to the strangers." Muslim. Think about that. The people Allah elevates will always feel a little out of place in this world, because while others are chasing trends, money, and status, you're chasing something much greater. And here's the proof. Allah says in the Quran, "Most people, no matter how much you desire it, will not believe." Quran 12:103. That means if you feel like you don't fully belong in a world obsessed with materialism, distractions, and superficiality, you're not broken. You're blessed. So the next time you feel like the odd one out, remember, it's because you're walking a different path, a path that leads to something greater than anything this world can offer. 5. They see this world for what it really is. Let's be honest. Most people are obsessed with this world. They chase money, fame, status, and luxury as if they're going to live forever. And then there's you. While others are racing for the latest trends, you're thinking, is this really worth it? While others are competing over who has more, you're wondering, what will all this mean in the grave? And that's when you realize you're seeing things differently. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "Be in this world as if you were a stranger or a traveler passing by." Bukhari. That means this world is not your final destination. You're not here to build palaces on sinking sand. You're here to invest in something eternal, and Allah confirms this reality in the Quran. This worldly life is nothing but play and amusement, but the hereafter, that is the real life, if only they knew. Quran 29:64. But here's where it gets tricky. When you start prioritizing the akhirah over the dunya, people look at you like you're crazy. Why aren't you chasing the same things we are? Why don't you care about impressing people? Why do you give when you could just take? Because they don't get it. They think this world is everything, but you see the expiration date. You know that no amount of wealth, followers, or status can buy even 1 second of extra life when the time comes. And that's when you realize you don't belong to this world. You're just passing through. 6. They struggle more with their own soul than with other people. Most people spend their lives fighting external battles, arguing with others, proving themselves, trying to win against enemies. But the ones whom Allah elevates, their biggest battle isn't with people, it's with themselves. They are in constant struggle with their own desires, their ego, their temptations, because they know that the hardest enemy to defeat is not out there, it's inside. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "The strongest person is not the one who can overpower others, but the one who can control himself when angry." Bukhari. Let that sink in. Real strength is not about beating people. It's about mastering yourself. And Allah reminds us in the Quran, "As for those who feared standing before their Lord and restrained themselves from desires, paradise will be their home." Quran 79, 40-41. But let's be real, it's not easy. Because every day, your soul will try to drag you toward comfort, toward laziness, toward what's easy. And your nafs will whisper, "Just relax, it's not that serious." But deep down, you know it is. That's why, while others go wherever their desires take them, you fight back. You force yourself to wake up for Fajr, to stay away from haram, to be disciplined when no one is watching. And here's the thing, no one will see these battles. No one will clap for you when you resist temptation. No one will cheer when you lower your gaze. But Allah sees, and that's all that matters. Because the ones who win this internal battle don't just win in this life. They win in the next. 7. They feel restless until they fulfill their purpose. Most people are satisfied with just going through life on autopilot. They wake up, scroll through their phones, chase money, waste time, sleep, repeat. No deeper meaning, no real purpose, just existing. But you feel something different, like an itch in your soul that won't go away. Like you weren't just sent here to survive. You were sent here for a reason, and no amount of entertainment, money, or distractions can fill that gap inside you. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Be eager for what benefits you, seek Allah's help, and do not be helpless." Muslim. This hadith is powerful. It means that a true believer doesn't just drift through life. They are driven. They have a sense of urgency because they know time is running out. And Allah reminds us in the Quran, "By time indeed, mankind is at a loss, except for those who believe, do righteous deeds, and encourage truth and patience." Quran 103, 1-3. That means if you feel restless, if you feel like you were meant for something bigger, it's because Allah put that feeling inside you for a reason. And here's the scary part. If you ignore that calling, life won't get better. It will just feel more empty. You'll keep chasing things that don't matter, trying to fill a void that can only be filled with one thing, your purpose. So, if you've been feeling this way, don't ignore it. It's a sign that Allah is guiding you towards something greater. Now, the real question is, will you answer the call? Conclusion. My dear brothers and sisters, the truth is, no one is born chosen. Allah does not favor people based on wealth, status, or background. The only thing that elevates a person is their sincerity, their struggle, and their taqwa. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Indeed, Allah does not look at your appearance or wealth, but He looks at your hearts and your actions." Muslim. That means the real question is not, am I chosen? The real question is, am I choosing Allah in my daily life? Because if you carry even one of these signs, it's not random. It's a reminder that Allah is guiding you towards something greater. The only question is, will you respond? So today, make this simple dua. Ya Allah, guide me to the path of those you love. Strengthen my faith, purify my heart, and never let me be among those who are lost. And if this message touched your heart, comment below. Ya Allah, make me among those whom you elevate. Your words might inspire someone else to reflect and seek Allah's guidance. And don't forget, liking and subscribing costs nothing, but it helps spread reminders that bring us all closer to Allah. May Allah grant us sincerity, protect our hearts from distractions, and guide us toward His mercy and light. Ameen.